Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to discuss a topic that was brought up in the comments of a previous video that I made, because the guy makes a point. He really does. He makes a fantastic point. So the video we're talking about is my video talking about Call of Duty Ghosts DLC and how Infinity Ward absolutely killed that DLC season in a good way. It was fantastic. It was one of the most interesting DLC seasons, if not the most interesting DLC season that we have ever seen in the Call of Duty franchise. Like every DLC season before and after Call of Duty Ghosts, in my opinion, has not been nearly as good when it comes to the sheer quantity and the sheer creativity of the maps that were involved. Well, in the comments of that video, and this was thumbs up quite a bit by you guys, therefore that's what got my attention drawn to it, Freak here says, the sad truth is, back when map packs were done, they, the developers, had to get creative because they were trying to sell you the DLC packs. Now since they are all free DLC, the devs aren't forced to make creative maps, especially since all the money is made from the in-game store. Yeah, definitely. Like, this is something that I guess we all kind of knew, we all kind of understood this, but maybe it's something that we don't necessarily think about all too much. Like, think about Modern Warfare 2019's DLC maps, and think about the DLC maps that we got here in Black Ops Cold War, and then compare them to some of the absolute gems, for example, that we had back in Call of Duty Ghosts. Like, you guys were seeing some cinematics right here. Like, some of the DLC maps in Ghosts were insane. We're talking, like, old abandoned gold mines, and haunted pirate ships, and all sorts of crazy stuff, but it didn't really just stop with Call of Duty Ghosts. Every now and then, we would get some crazy DLC in other games. For example, let's talk about Micro from Black Ops 3, the map where we were basically ant-sized running around on a picnic table in Los Angeles or something like that, like some random place out west, right? That was a really cool DLC map. Like, we're running around and, you know, bottles of pop and stuff like that are pieces of cover. That was really interesting. And then you go back to Splash from Black Ops 3, another Black Ops 3 map we're seeing here in a water park. That was awesome. And Rush from Black Ops 2, which of course came back here in Black Ops Cold War, but Rush was a paintball park. Grind was the skate park in Black Ops 2. We had all these crazy DLC maps over the years, but that's back when we were actually paying for DLC. Since we stopped paying for DLC, virtually every map, I mean, there are some exceptions, but virtually every map is bland and boring, and we don't really get that many of them. If you count Season 6, this is crazy, and I hope I'm not messing this up because I'm actually looking at the list of maps that came out in Black Ops Cold War right now. But so far, if you count Season 6, I believe we've only gotten 7 original DLC maps throughout the entire year of Black Ops Cold War. 7 DLC maps. Think about that, man. Like, back in the day, back when we were paying for DLC maps, we would get like 12, 15 DLC maps sometimes, right? It just really came down onto the year. I think sometimes we'd even get 5 DLC maps in a single update, whereas we've gotten 7 original maps that have released in the entirety of the year for Black Ops Cold War. That is obscene. And it's because they're free DLC maps. So obviously, free DLC is the way to go, at least in my opinion. Some people may actually disagree with that, but I feel as though free DLC is the way to go. If you go back to the old days, back when DLC was kind of crazy, we're talking like $15 for a map pack, and that map pack would have anywhere from 3 to 5 multiplayer maps, perhaps a zombies map, depending on the game. Sure, I mean, that'd be good, but $15 for just that, and then you have to pay that 4 times throughout the year, or pay $50 for the season pass, that's kind of obscene. It really is. Like, think about this, right? It's really stupid to spend basically the price of the entire game on just maps. Like, $50 for maybe 12 DLC maps, when the full game itself traditionally is $60, but also comes with 12 maps of its own, all the weapons, all the camo challenges, the campaign, the zombies, the spec ops, so on and so forth. The DLC back in the day was incredibly overpriced, and something that I think a lot of people tend to forget as well is how bad paid DLC was for replay value in the older Call of Duty games. Like a game like Modern Warfare 2019 and a game like Black Ops Cold War, with all the DLC being free, simply you just install them to your system of choice, and then you have them forever, and every time you try to play the game, there you go, all those maps and all that content are right there and available to you. Whereas back in the day, if you bought a DLC pack, let's say you bought the entire season pass for, we'll call it Black Ops 1, right? You can't play those maps anymore. You paid $50 back in the day for something that you can't even access anymore. Like, you can install them to your system, sure, and run around those maps in a private match against bots, maybe, but other than that, you can't actually play those maps online because there's so few people playing the older Call of Duty games that if you want to find a lobby whatsoever, you have to have all the DLC uninstalled. It definitely, like, fragmented the player base quite a bit. There were some people that had all the DLC, then there's people that have no DLC, then there's people that only have DLC 1, people that only have DLC DLC 2, people that have, for some reason, DLC 2 and DLC 4 installed, but not 1 and 3. Like, it split the player base up so many ways that it was so hard to find a lobby, and in order Call of Duty titles, it is in your best interest to not install the content that you paid for. And when that's the case, that's a horrible system, right? So don't take what I'm saying here today as we should bring back DLC packs, we should bring back season passes. No, I'm glad they're gone. I'm just saying, my man's got a point here, that ever since they went with free DLC maps have they've kind of sucked, if I'm being entirely honest. Like, some of them are good. Like, looking at the ones that we have here in Black Ops Cold War, Yamantau, I think, is good. I think Diesel is good. I'm looking at the entire list. Collateral's not bad. Echelon, I like Echelon. Echelon's pretty good. Pines is fantastic, but other than that, like, we're not really talking about that many original DLC maps. They brought back Rush, they brought back Slums, they brought back Zoo, they brought back Drive-In, they brought back Standoff, they brought back Hijacked. Good God, they brought back everything in Black Ops Cold War. That is obscene, actually. Like, the entire DLC season is just them, like, playing the hits I talked about before, but it's kind of like a classic rock station where they just keep playing the hits over and over. They're not even reimagining the maps, they're just copy and pasting them in. Oh, man. And I think that, again, that goes back to the idea that they are, the DLC is now free. And as a result of DLC being free, they're not even trying to get creative with it. And I think that's really unfortunate. This reminds me a bit, actually, of that comment from Bob. Who remembers Bob from this video I made back in the summertime? So here we see a comment from Switters who says he swears that after Black Ops 3, Treyarch fired all but one map designer, to which a guy named Bob responds, and let me guess, you want these, quote, good new maps, unquote, given to you for free, right? So basically the consensus here was, we all think Bob is like a Treyarch or a Sledgehammer or an Infinity Ward employee on an alt account that is there to just, bash YouTubers and stuff like that, I suppose. And what's funny is after I kind of called him out by making, I made a video and I showed that comment in the video, Bob deleted his channel. Not that it mattered or anything. It was like an alt channel that had been live for like a month. It wasn't an old channel or anything like that. It had no content. It was just active for 1 month. Then he deleted it after that video was made because he probably saw, oh no, if they figure out which employee I am, I'm probably gonna get fired. So, so Bob deleted all his stuff. But yeah, I think it kind of goes to show the mindset that they have within the studios, where it's like, look, if you're getting free DLC, we're not going to try, because maybe they don't make as much money. Maybe back when they would make like a fraction of, like a percentage of the money that each DLC pack would make. Maybe that was it. Maybe the employees, the map designers, or whatever, they'd get a little bit of a bonus if the Apocalypse DLC, for example, sold really well. I don't know. I'm not on the in. I've never been to these studios or anything like that. I don't have a personal relationship with any of these people, but I'm just wondering, like, I wonder why ever since DLC went free, the map designers just don't seem to care nearly as much. I mean, the new map that we're getting here in Season 6, it's actually technically out right now, that is basically going into the mind of Adler, that's really creative. That's interesting. But that's also like the first and only creative DLC map that we've gotten for Black Ops Cold War so far. And here we are, almost 11 months into the game's life cycle, and we've gotten 7 total original DLC maps. All the others are just copy and pastes. It's like, I have to wonder at the end of the day, and I would love, this is going to be the question for this video, I would love to know down in the comments, was paid DLC better? Did you prefer that system? Did you prefer like paying for a better product, or do you like not paying and getting a subpar product? Because that's kind of what we have right now. Obviously, the best thing for the consumer is for the DLC to be free and the maps to actually be awesome, but we're not really getting that as of right now. But then again, Call of Duty hasn't had any direct competition when it comes to multiplayer for many years. I talk about this in almost all my videos, but with Battlefield coming out and Halo coming out, Call of Duty multiplayer actually has competition, because Battlefield and Halo aren't trying to compete with Warzone. They're competing with COD multiplayer. So hopefully this year is going to be a little bit different with Vanguard. I think we find ourselves almost every year saying, hopefully this year will be a little bit different, but I suppose we'll have to wait and see how things are going to play out. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider leaving it a like, leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.